Hello everybody, my name is Acidical Portal and welcome to my next YouTube video. Today I want to review the terrain editor. So this is a unique part of Roblox Studio that essentially allows you to build a terrain out of certain polygonal faces. What I mean by that is instead of using like parts like this, right? It has its own kind of unique kind of properties to it that do not interact with part-based items. So as you can see, there's three different areas. So basically what we do, right, if we want to add something, we have these settings that we can use, and there's quite a handful of them. So I can change kind of the polygonal pattern that these use. So I can change the height and size, and basically, if you want to especially edit these things, you type in the properties. So, but because this is locked, you have to unlock it. So now I can, change the size of this and it looks kind of, yeah, it looks kind of like a potato because it kind of, had to load in the textures for this. But essentially, you have to unlock this if you want to change uh, both dimensions of the size. So if I made this like 10, if I made this 10, it would be very long, right? Or very wide rather, because this is on the x-axis. If I did it the opposite way, it would be very, very long, right? So there's a lot of things you can honestly do with this, and I mean, it's a really amazing tool. But see how you can't actually edit any of the things with this because the uh, the Explorer, right? The Explorer, the system that it runs doesn't recognize it, right? But if we go to stats, right? If we go here, it doesn't show, right? It doesn't show any contacts, it doesn't show any moving parts because they do not fit within the original kind of, I guess, assets. But they do have wireframing structures to them. And what are wireframing, you may ask? Good question. Well, wireframes are kind of essentially the edges of parts, and they're only the edges of loam. As you can see, these also have wireframings, and every polygon, right? Every polygon has a space, and every space has edges that have to connect those spaces. So if I add, right? If I add something, I'm gonna turn this off because it looks really weird. But if we add this whole thing, right? It will show there this right here. But notice how it kind of like fuses together, right? It's almost magnetic in a sense. You cannot do this, right? You cannot do this with parts. Parts do not fuse together in that sense. They just kind of stick together, but they're not gonna like fuse together. So I'm gonna remove the base plate because that's just kind of in the way. Um, so if you want to add things, like I said, you go to that. I'm going to turn back on lock because that's pretty helpful. But you can play with this. You can kind of make a lot of stuff. You could make like a hill if you wanted to. Uh, I made like a little, you know, hill right there, or mountain. Um, Uh, you can go to the paint tools and you can edit this, but because that's also in grass, I could change this to like mud or whatever. I could change this to this. This is a really cool texture. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do with this. Uh, this essentially locks things to a certain point. So now everything is all locked to this. It's very surreal looking. Um, And so, okay, I've kind of made a mess, right? So what if I don't want all of this? So what I do, if I would just want to remove everything, uh, I'll just press clear, and it will ask you this, and you just click yes. Notice how this doesn't go away. And the reason why this doesn't go away is because it is not recognized as a part of the terrain editor. So this alone is a part, but if we go back to this, there's no parts in it, right? The only parts in the workspace are this. Everything under all this green stuff is a child of the terrain. So everything, if I deleted that, right, you can't actually delete that, and you can't either delete the workspace. But if you click on it and you press delete, everything will be removed because all of these assets right here are a part of the terrain. They're all one kind of symbiotic system. And I hope that's not too confusing. Um, but another thing that I want to show you um, now is the special items. And you have about a dozen or so right here, right? But water is an exception. See, what's interesting about water is it has an animation. What also has an animation is grass, but we'll get that to that in a sec. Already made a kind of like animation for the character. So if I see, this is a pretty big, large amount of water. But if I play here, right, it'll take a second to load. But they also have a splash sound effect for it. And you can also swim around in it. So Roblox has already kind of done all of this for you, right? This is already kind of built into the game. Unfortunately, this water is, as you can tell, it's not very realistic. It's kind of like Minecraft water. You just kind of fall out of it, but you can swim up through it. Like I said, it's not very realistic, but it's useful. If we go to terrain, right, we can actually change the color of the water. So if I wanted to make it green, now it kind of looks like slime. Or if you wanted to have a game, uh, about like sewer stuff or whatever, you could have green water. You can change the speed of the animation of the waves. You can also, uh, exaggerate um, kind of like how big the waves look, and it looks really weird, but it's really cool. Um, you can completely change the reflectance. Now it's just you can't see through it at all. If I beta one, uh, one is kind of the maximum decoration. I'll get to that in a sec. Actually, if I add stuff, right? So if I go to this and if, say I change it to grass, grass is the other interesting one because say if we go to decoration, it automatically adds grass into the game. This is also another animated asset that was recently added into Roblox, but uh, when your character's walking on it, it works just fine. So you can actually walk through this grass, and Roblox has already kind of put animations for both water and grass. So if you want to have these in your game, you can absolutely do so. Another thing you can do, notice how uh, they kind of have different textures. While grass is a lot smoother and basalt is a lot rougher. But another thing that we can do is uh, we can also change the colors of not just water, but other things as well. So, say I want to change the color of brick or any of this, right? Let's go to basalt first, right? If I want to make it blue, it would look kind of weird, but if we want to make it blue, we can do so. So if you want it to be like an alien world or whatever, it'll be blue. If we want to make these bricks green, we can do so with that. But remember, these are not the same as. I know this is a little confusing, but it's not the same bricks as these bricks. Notice how they kind of look a bit different. One of them's a lot flatter, and one of them, hold on. So, okay, so this kind of has like its own thing, but it kind of goes into each other. It behaves very differently than, say, um, this does. This doesn't really do that. You have to manually put it in, and notice how everything kind of just kind of almost uh, goes into each other, and you can't see any of the other parts because there is no other part. It is all kind of one thing. So if we go to, show grid, this is, oops, sorry. If we go to show wireframe, you can definitely see the difference in texture of the way that these are sorted. Um, and yeah, that's basically about it. That's all I basically wanted to show you. There is a few other things, and let's get to that part right now, actually. So I'm gonna clear all of this. Okay, so basically this is the last part of the video. So uh, this is a very interesting part. So this is actually generation, kind of like in Minecraft, but not really. They all have kind of their own seed, and they're all number based. But you can actually choose what things or what kind of textures you want to have in it and what you don't want to have. So if I want to change this, right? If I want to have hills, say I want mountains and I want, I don't know, water, right? What it'll do is it will generate this amount of stuff. Unfortunately, if you make it too big, it will lag. But I'll show you what it does. So it shows you the process of making it, but also what's really cool about it is this is a completely randomly generated seed, and there's a lot you can do with this. And you can type in any number, and it's like in Minecraft. It will generate that specific seed for whatever number you put into it. As you can see, there's a lot of caves and stuff. If I turn on my light, it's unfortunately like really laggy because it's, you know, loading and all of this stuff, but it looks a lot like something you'd see in Minecraft because, it's generated this completely unique kind of place. Um, the max you can generate this is 16,384. So, for example, um, I can't go 385. The reason why it's 384 is because 308 16,384 is a square root of 2, and that is the number essentially chosen to uh, not go any larger than, if that makes sense. So, say if you want to have a game where, you already have a base, you already have an area. Uh, this is really cool stuff to like do, um, and it really brings the game to life in a lot of ways. This would be a good thumbnail, actually. Um, it only loads the grass kind of within range, but I can swim in this water, and it's just really fun to like be around it too. I could probably find a cave somewhere. Yeah, this is the cave right here. Um, and it kind of just does its own thing at this point. This actually doesn't go anywhere, but you still get my point. You can still create basically anything, right? If I wanted to delete this, and if I wanted to uh, create something else, right? Say if I wanted to make dunes and I wanted to make canyons, right? If I wanted to make it a deserty place, it will generate this. And as you can see, it's already generating it. But it's completely different to what we did. But you can completely mess around with these and you can completely uh, edit these in any way that you want. All right, so that took a while to load, kind of like the other one, but it's kind of similar, but there are some differences to it, and you can obviously go and explore this area, and I can go underground, and it just keeps going deeper, like kind of how like a normal cave would. I know it's kind of hard to see, but essentially, uh, whenever you're generating a world, there'll always be lava at the bottom of the world because that's kind of like bedrock in a sense. You just keep getting deeper into the ground, and it's gonna do that stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was a bit of a different video, not really so much of building, and but more of like the mechanics of the game and stuff you usually see in a game. But I'm sure you guys never actually might have not created. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll be uploading more videos soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, and have a nice one.